Butler's comments, fair or foul?
Foul. Foul. Very foul. Utterly ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to go there. I mean, you're going to take one game against Mitchell Trubisky and act like that defines the career of Aaron Rodgers? Listen to his words carefully. He said, quote, I mean, if you can't beat Mitchell Trubisky, how good are you? He wasn't talking about a game. He was talking about the career. Now, if you sat up there and said you had a bad game and you were chiding him for that game, no problem. Because Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked good this game, hasn't looked good pretty much this season compared to what we've grown accustomed to seeing. No problems there. But when we talk about Aaron Rodgers in terms of his career, you mean the guy with a damn near 4.5 touchdown to interception ratio, 336 touchdowns, just 80 interceptions on his career? You mean a former league MVP? You mean a man that's had half the career that Brett Favre has had and still has as many Super Bowls as Brett Favre has? Now, I understand the love affair with Brett Favre. And I'm chiding LeRoy Butler here because we've spoken from time to time, and I genuinely like him. He's good people. Please don't get me wrong. We know he's a strong safety for the Green Bay Packers from 1990 to 2001 and could absolutely ball. Yeah, I'm not throwing no shade on Butler. He knows that. He knows me well enough to know that. I'm not throwing no shade on him. I'm simply saying it all comes back to the love affair with Brett Favre. You know what I'm saying? We love Brett Favre. He could do no wrong. And listen, and ESPN, I have been on the record dogging ESPN over the years, just so you know, Molly, Max, and Ryan, because of, where do you think I get the line from? Oh, look at him jump into the arms of his offensive lineman. Oh, look at him trip over and throw the ball under.
He's drawing up plays in the dirt.
The little kid in him.
He's drawing up plays in the dirt.
You don't like Brett Favre.
No.
I think you forget he won 3 MVPs.
Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer. Brett Favre was phenomenal. I know he could play. What I never liked about Brett Favre was the last 4 to 5 years of his career where he couldn't make up his mind as to whether he wanted to retire or not. And he worked the media. And almost no one else would have gotten away with that. That's my only issue with Brett Favre.
People who wanted access to Brett Favre were willing to call him the greatest quarterback of all time. He was never the greatest quarterback
and Max, by the way, last point,
Yep.
336 interceptions in his career, 508 touchdowns. That's a 1.5 TD to turnover ratio.
Let me say this.
That's all I'm going to say.
Let me say this. First
Just
of all,
stop it, Butler. Stop it.
LeRoy Butler, of course it's foul. We all know what it is. Brett Favre stands, and by the way, Tom Brady stands, Molly, always want to take shots at Aaron Rodgers because he's better than those guys. That's all it is. And LeRoy Butler played with Brett Favre. And if you played with Brett Favre, the toughest guy to ever play the position, and one of the greatest players of all time, like, you know how we feel about Patrick Mahomes when we watch him? Like, oh, my God, that's electric. That's what it was like watching a young Brett Favre. And that guy was the toughest guy of all time. Like, of course, if you played with that guy, you love him. It's almost like Brett Favre. Well, you'll have your chance. Brett Favre.
Barely
Brett Favre,
He's just on the other side, just moaning, too. Like,
it's just,
the whole time.
Right.
Well, I feel the same way.
Brett Favre has his stands the way Kobe has his stands. The way Kobe stands are looking for LeBron to do anything wrong.
Aaron Rodgers stand.
And I'm just telling the truth. To do anything wrong, to compare him unfavorably.
That's what those stands think as well.
Yeah.
To compare him unfavorably with LeBron. So, for example, LeRoy Butler says, you can't even outplay Mitch Trubisky. LeRoy, who has a better defense in the NFL than the Chicago Bears? They were at home playing Chicago, and you really want to compare Aaron Rodgers' performance against that defense on the road to Trubisky's performance against the Green Bay defense at home? Come on. Are you serious? And by the way, Rodgers' interception was in the hands of his receiver. That was in the end zone, and they lost by 1 score. And that's bad Aaron Rodgers.
We'll get in here. I need some balance.
You want me to go? Or I don't know what Ryan's going to say. I want to make it a trifecta of moans if we can do it. But here's the deal. It's not about – why is this about Brett Favre? Why are you guys making this about Brett Favre? Does it have to be about Brett Favre? That's the way you win this debate because you project Brett Favre into this. How about this? Very simply, a simple word, accountability. I agree, Max. I mean, saying you have to beat Mitch Trubisky if you're Aaron Rodgers is not a fair comparison. He's not playing Mitch Trubisky. He's playing the Chicago Bears defense. I get all that. But when are you going to start listening? Like, how many guys does it take? LeRoy Butler, Winston Moss, Greg Jennings. It's no offensive creativity. Where are his weapons? I mean, how many excuses at some point do you start to give for Aaron Rodgers where you go, maybe we're avoiding accountability here. And the only goal should be what is real, what is accurate, what is truthful. And what is truthful is Aaron Rodgers is a very good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. But at some point, we have to start listening to the people who played with him, who've been around this organization, who know something, that are suggesting to you that while he's a very good, great quarterback, there are some questions about his leadership and then, in turn, his winning. That's what this is about.
You know what? I think it's fair, first off, because I believe that you could critique people the way you want. And we're going to praise Aaron Rodgers the way we do all the time for his physical tools, his physical traits. At some point, we're going to have to start to point out that people that leave the Green Bay Packers, they don't speak glowingly of him. I think Max, you focus more so on the fact that people loved Brett Favre. They love kind of the meathead, real football approach to the way that Brett Favre played the game. And you mentioned to me in the offset that Aaron Rodgers is cerebral. It's not about him being cerebral. It's about him being separate. It's about him not possessing the leadership skills that galvanize the team. It's about, even though you can throw a ball like we've never seen people throw it, that you normally have the accuracy of a Drew Brees and yet the arm talent of a Patrick Mahomes, and we've never seen those things, people don't rally around you. When Greg Jennings gets on TV, he doesn't sit there and talk about how great it was to play with you, how much better you made him as a player, how awesome it was to be a teammate of Aaron Rodgers. But they talk about Brett Favre that way. When you hear people talk about Drew Brees in New Orleans, they call him Breezes. They say he's the GOAT because it's the way he makes people
Ryan,
feel.
that's fair.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that, and that's what this is about.
Wait, that's fair.
Standing ovation.
Hold on.
Standing ovation.
Hold on. That is fair criticism. No question, but we're asking, is this fair or foul? And do you believe LeRoy Butler is saying this just because of that? Just because Aaron Rodgers comes off as effete and distant to some NFL players?